What if I told you that there's a species in Star Wars so incredibly powerful that they've mastered the Force in ways that would make even Anakin Skywalker look like a Padawan? What if I told you that despite living for nearly 1,000 years, witnessing galactic wars, political corruption, and unspeakable atrocities, not a single member of this species has ever fallen to the dark side? Hello, Star Wars fans. We need to talk about Yoda's species, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why they might just be the most fascinating and terrifying Force users in the entire galaxy. But first, smash that subscribe button, because we're about to dive deep into Star Wars lore that will blow your mind. For over 4 decades, Star Wars fans have been obsessed with one simple question. What exactly is Yoda? We know almost nothing about his species. No homeworld, no species name, no backstory. George Lucas has kept this mystery locked tighter than the Jedi archives. But here's what we do know, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. In the entire Star Wars canon and legends, we've only seen 3 members of Yoda's species. Master Yoda himself, Yaddle from the Jedi Council, and of course, Grogu, our beloved Baby Yoda from The Mandalorian. That's it, 3 beings, and all of them are Force-sensitive. Not just Force-sensitive, they're Force prodigies. Think about that for a second. In a galaxy of trillions of beings, where Force sensitivity occurs in maybe 1 in a million individuals, we have a species where every single member we've encountered is not just Force sensitive, but incredibly powerful. That's not coincidence, folks. That's evolution. Let's start with the obvious. Yoda is arguably the most powerful Jedi who ever lived. At 900 years old, he's seen the rise and fall of the Republic, trained Jedi for 8 centuries, and was considered the greatest lightsaber duelist of his era. Remember his fight with Count Dooku? This little green guy who walks with a cane suddenly becomes a spinning tornado of death with a lightsaber. But here's where it gets interesting. His power isn't just about raw strength. Yoda demonstrates abilities that other Jedi can barely comprehend. He casually lifts X-Wings out of swamps, something that would challenge even the strongest Jedi Masters. He absorbs and redirects Force lightning with his bare hands. He literally fights the Emperor himself to a standstill. Now let's talk about Yaddle. In Legends, she's described as having such incredible healing abilities through the Force that she could literally bring people back from the brink of death. She could also perform a technique called Morikro, essentially putting beings into a death-like trance. These aren't standard Jedi abilities, folks. This is next-level Force manipulation. And then there's Grogu. This child, this literal infant, can heal mortal wounds, lift mudhorns that weigh several tons, and even Force choke people when he's threatened. He's maybe 50 years old, which is basically a toddler for his species, and he's already demonstrating powers that most adult Jedi never achieve. But here's the truly insane part, and this is where the theory gets really wild. What if their incredible Force sensitivity isn't just natural talent? What if Yoda's species has been artificially selecting for Force sensitivity for thousands of generations? Think about this, logically. We know Yoda's species lives for nearly a millennium. That's an incredibly long lifespan, long enough to see entire civilizations rise and fall. From an evolutionary standpoint, what advantage would such longevity provide? Knowledge, wisdom, and most importantly, the ability to guide and shape galactic events across multiple generations. Here's my theory. Yoda's species evolved not just to be Force-sensitive, but to be the galaxy's guardians. Think about it. They mature incredibly slowly, living for centuries before reaching adulthood. This extended childhood allows them to absorb vast amounts of knowledge and develop unprecedented Force abilities before they even become full adults. But there's something else. Notice how we've only ever seen them as Jedi? Never as civilians, never as traders or politicians or soldiers. It's almost as if becoming a Jedi isn't a choice for them. It's their natural destiny, their evolutionary imperative. And here's where it gets really crazy. What if Yoda's species doesn't just live on some unknown planet in the Outer Rim? What if they exist partially outside, normal space-time, connected to the Force in ways we can't even comprehend? This would explain their incredible longevity, their universal Force sensitivity, and their seemingly supernatural wisdom. But now, we come to the most fascinating aspect of Yoda's species, their apparent immunity to the dark side. In a galaxy where even the most powerful Jedi can fall, Anakin Skywalker, Count Dooku, Revan, Jacen Solo, not a single member of Yoda's species has ever turned to darkness. This isn't just impressive, it's statistically impossible, unless there's something fundamentally different about how they experience the Force. Here's what I think is happening. Most species experience the Force as 2 sides, light and dark, good and evil, peace and passion. But what if Yoda's species experiences the Force differently? What if, to them, the Force isn't divided at all, but appears as a single unified energy that they can tap into without the risk of corruption? Look at how Yoda talks about the Force. Do or do not, there is no try. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. He doesn't speak about struggle between light and dark. He speaks about understanding, acceptance, and unity with the Force. This could explain their incredible power. While other Force users are constantly fighting internal battles between their light and dark impulses, Yoda's species simply doesn't have that conflict. They're naturally aligned with what we call the light side, not through moral choice, but through evolutionary adaptation. But there's another, more disturbing possibility. What if members of Yoda's species can fall to the dark side, but when they do, they're so incredibly powerful that the galaxy itself wouldn't survive? What if there's some kind of built-in failsafe, either biological or through the Force itself, that prevents this from happening? Think about it. If Yoda turned to the dark side with his 900 years of experience and godlike power, he could probably conquer the entire galaxy single-handedly. Maybe the Force itself prevents this by ensuring that anyone from his species who begins to fall to darkness simply disappears. Here's where we enter pure speculation territory, but bear with me, because this is where it gets really wild. What if Yoda's species isn't actually a species at all? What if there's something else entirely? Force entities that have taken physical form. This would explain everything: their incredible power, their immunity to the dark side, their mysterious origins, and why we've never seen their homeworld. In Star Wars lore, we know that powerful Force users can sometimes transcend death and become one with the Force. Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Qui-Gon all achieve this. But what if Yoda's species represents beings who started as Force entities and chose to incarnate in physical form to guide the galaxy? This would make them essentially immortal shepherds, taking physical form when the galaxy needs guidance most. Yoda appears during the Republic's Golden Age and helps establish the Jedi Order. Yaddle serves during the Republic's decline. And now Grogu appears, just as a new Jedi Order is being born. It's not coincidence, it's cosmic design. But here's the really mind-bending part. If this theory is true, then Grogu isn't just a child of Yoda's species. He might be the next incarnation of Yoda himself. Think about the timeline. Yoda dies in Return of the Jedi, and Grogu is roughly 50 years old during The Mandalorian, which takes place after Yoda's death. What if Force entities need time to reincarnate, and Grogu represents Yoda's return to help guide the galaxy through its next crisis? This brings us to the ultimate question. If Yoda's species is so powerful and so important, why keep them secret? Why has George Lucas refused to reveal their origins for over 40 years? I think it's because the truth would fundamentally change how we understand Star Wars. If Yoda's species are revealed to be Force entities or cosmic guardians, it transforms the entire saga from a space opera about good versus evil into something much more profound, a story about cosmic forces using physical incarnations to guide the galaxy's evolution. It would mean that the Jedi Order itself might have been established not by mortals seeking to understand the Force, but by immortal beings who already understood it completely. It would mean that every major galactic crisis has been carefully managed by these cosmic shepherds, working behind the scenes to ensure that darkness never completely wins. And it would mean that Grogu's journey isn't just about a cute alien baby learning to use the Force. It's about a cosmic entity preparing for its next mission to save the galaxy. So there you have it. The mystery of Yoda's species might be the key to understanding the entire Star Wars saga. Are they evolutionary miracles, Force entities in physical form, or something even more extraordinary that we haven't even imagined yet? Whatever the truth is, one thing is certain. Yoda's species represents something unique in the galaxy, beings who have achieved perfect harmony with the Force and serve as eternal guardians of balance and wisdom. What do you think? Are they natural evolution's masterpiece or something far more mystical? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into Star Wars lore that will change how you see the galaxy far, far away. May the Force be with you always.